Hey guys, what's up today? Call it what you will. This is a complete and utter, and excuse my French, clusterfuck Intel has created for themselves. And I'm going to be honest with you now. I just spent the last 7 hours, give or take, reading up on Meltdown and Spectre. I've been doing this for the past couple of days, but I finally got a chance to really sit down and read about it. Is AMD affected by Meltdown? AMD saying no. However, after reading into that, it's more of how AMD handles the instruction set for access to memory. Compared to Intel's, that's a big gaping hole. So supposedly Meltdown AMD isn't affected. Now, this is kind of Intel's fault at this point. From what I've been able to read, articles that have been coming up the last several hours to the last day or two, we're talking Intel processors back to 2005. That's a lot. We're talking everything out of the Core i series, which I have one that's affected. We are talking Core 2 series and Core 2 Quad. So those were Intel's biggest sellers back then. Now, AMD has a problem with the Spectre update. Microsoft has halted this update because, well, Microsoft screwed up and laid off, over the last couple of years, several thousand employees. That's pretty much public knowledge. It shouldn't have happened on breaking older Athlon systems. We're talking probably including the Athlon 2 line and the Phenom 2 line. Now, that is speculation at the moment. I haven't been able to confirm it. I've been trying to. What I do know is this. An Athlon 2600 Plus is affected, or an Athlon 6000 is affected. So those I know are affected. So basically the beginning of AM2, most likely including socket 939 and 754. Microsoft, you're the one that screwed that up. Yeah, you screwed it up. Because you fired employees that could have used all this hardware that we know you have access to, old and new, to test these updates against. Instead of using, oh, the user is one of my Facebook friends has stated. I agree with it. The common everyday user right now does not know how to perform a format of a thumb drive. You want to know why? Because you plug it in and go. Alright. Going back to everything else, Intel should have actually come out and said something. However, we all know that if they had done that, their sales would have dropped dramatically. Now, they're not the only ones affected. ARM chip CPUs are affected. ARM CPUs are affected. However, I can confirm anything AMD related is not affected by Meltdown. That is officially the word. I can't tell you how I know it, because again, that's a part of my life I keep separate from our channel. So just know that if you do any updates lately, make sure you're using newer hardware. Make sure that you're not getting this update. Now, I do know for a fact, because of these articles, the update has been halted at the moment. Completely. Shut down. It's gone back basically to the drawing board at this point to get it fixed. Now, you know, this shouldn't have even been possible. You know, Intel's responding to CPU kernel bug, claiming its patches will make PCs immune. Yeah, it will, with a performance hit. So, guess what, all you Intel server fans and, Core i series fans? I've got the biggest, baddest chip on the market. You're gonna take a percentage hit. Now, supposedly, as these Windows updates regarding Meltdown do come out, because you just can't target one particular group of PCs for this. You know, you release an update, it does all of them. Period. I mean, you're talking about trying to do something feasible, maybe. If you had a big enough team for it. But you still don't know what every user in the country has. Okay? It's easier to roll it out fully. Now, when you do that, you're bound to hit a bug or two. You know, we're talking minor stuff here. But, because Microsoft thinks they are God, and wants everybody to update their PC, you can't disable the updates. Like you could with 7. Like you originally could with 8. In fact, I think you can still do it with 8. But with 10, you can't tell it to not install the damn update. Microsoft, here is a prime example of you kicking yourself in your own ass and shooting yourself in both feet. Come on! It was a bad idea to begin with. It was a bad idea to take away the ability to disable Cortana. I have to go into the registry now and manually tell Cortana to shut off. No. I'd love to know exactly, right to a T, and I'm sure all your customers would, but you're not gonna do it because, well, you're not gonna do it because you're gonna lose all your damn money. I'd love to know exactly what data you are collecting. Because if your system gets broken into, that's a concern of mine. Now, that being said, this is more of a rant and watch out video. Patches are being made. Meltdown patches under Windows will affect AMD and performance. So, how much? Don't really know. I don't see any numbers yet, so if I could get a patch, hey, I'd go for it. Because I have an Intel chip affected by this. It'd be nice and interesting to see. You know, that being said, this has really turned into, I think, Intel's biggest worst case scenario issue of all time. So, Intel needs to definitely be more transparent. You don't design a chip that way. Even if it's helping you out, you don't design the chip that way. You know, and according to this article on PC World, Intel's announcement was the latest in an ongoing fight to patch microprocessors against a pair of vulnerabilities released this week. The company said it had already released updates for the majority of its chips released in the last 5 years. That's pretty much the entire Core I series. And then some. But how far back does it truly go? You know, and it would hit the 90% mark up supposedly next week. They're being released as firmware updates and software patches. Guys, let me give you all an example of how a firmware update works. We will use the original Athlon and Phenom line, 1950s or 1850s, I forget. I think I still have one of those CPUs here. Basically, the designer that designed the chip realized later on, after AMD had gone back to him saying, hey, there's a problem here, can you come back and look at it? He immediately said, okay, here's the problem. It's with the level 3 cache, how it's being accessed and used. Release a firmware update through the BIOS, shut it down. That's basically, at this point, what Intel is having to do with their CPUs. They're having to literally put a BIOS update in place and shut that access point down. When the access point should have been more secure in the first place, but they decided to take a cheapo way out and charge you a shit ton of money for a CPU. You know, everybody's aware of it. And I just rolled into a list completely published by Intel, and I'm going to give you an idea. It goes back to the Intel Pentium processor N series and the Intel Atom processor. Now again, this is according to PC World. So, where is my right screen here? Alright, I'm going to bring this over here to the screen for you guys so you can see it. Here's the CPU list for the last 5 years so far. We are talking all the way right back into the original Intel Core series. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is affecting all Core i3, 5, and 7 processors, and 9. Yeah. See, there's actually one missing in here. But it's not because it's being listed as 2nd generation, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I have 2 computers. No. 3 computers that are personally affected by this. Probably 6 total, if not more. My desktop, my laptop, the wife's laptop, a router, 2 of our servers that are probably affected by this issue. I'm not happy. I mean, I'm literally not happy. So, you know, I mean, we are going back generations here. I mean, some of these are Core 2 line Xeon processors that the Core 2s were based off of. This is... And I know I've got one of these Intel processors. Probably have a little bit more. Let me see what I can tell you. Judging by what I know to be in the media creation server, it's most likely affected. Between the home data server, maybe. I'd have to actually pull that one up, but look at this. I mean, you can read it for yourself here. You know, when AMD was notified, AMD went and checked it. They said it could be affected if our design was different. I'm like, okay, fine. But when you're designing something, make it more secure. Another nice update, now that I'm essentially done ranting, and again, another PC World article just came up not too long ago, about a day ago now. NVIDIA updates graphic drivers to protect against the Spectre CPU attacks. Do it. I mean, this would be probably for any NVIDIA GPU. Now, whether AMD's releasing drivers at this point or getting them ready to release, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. You know, this is for NVIDIA's GeForce Quadro NVS Tesla cards on the R384 driver branch. Those have fixes available now. Updated drivers for grid users and the Tesla card on the R390 branch will be out later this month, according to the article. So, good job, NVIDIA. I applaud you with, I don't know how long you've had notice on this, but the fact that you actually were on the ball, you got your stuff tested and set straight, I applaud you. But then again, we're not talking about CPUs here. We're talking about a GPU, something that particular manufacturer knows how to patch right off the bat. So, even though Spectre isn't that great of a risk, it's still a risk. Make sure your browsers are up to date, guys. All of them. I use Firefox. I keep it up to date. My Chrome is probably out of date, and I don't care. I don't use it enough. Edge is most likely whatever Edge is. Same with Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is just done. So at this point, make sure you're running an up-to-date browser, careful where you go, and never store your information directly on the computer. I'm talking sensitive information, credit card numbers, social security numbers, driver's license IDs, stuff like that. Also, because the Windows Spectre update bricked some AMD computers, I can't stress to you all enough again. Back it up, back it up, back it up, oh, and back it up. Keep multiple copies of your data. When you start running into 20-something terabytes in your home that you just can't back up, then let me know. But an average user with a 1 terabyte hard drive can use a 4 terabyte or a 2 terabyte drive as long as they keep their backups in Windows cleared up and they erase the oldest. You're fine. It would be even better to manually do this. But what do I know? I didn't finish my degree in school for computer technology, even though I'm about 3/4 of the way there. I'm just a dead-end job worker. I mean, what do I know? People call me crazy and stupid for saying this stuff. I'm not stupid about it. I've had hard drives crash. You all have seen the video. If you haven't, it's there in the video list on our YouTube page. I lost one video file on a 3 terabyte hard drive. And I don't even know what that video file was, because I could not get to it. Everything else was fine. But yet again, I cannot back up that drive because I don't have the room. At this point, it would probably be more beneficial for me to get the money together, which if we start getting enough views, it might happen. But get the money together and build about a 10 terabyte to 30 terabyte backup system. That's a lot, and that ain't cheap. But anyway, guys, peace out. Enjoy the video. I'll try to get them done weekly. It's just been really, really busy. Don't forget to like it if you like it. Hate it if you hate it. Don't forget to share and subscribe. And you all have a wonderful rest of your week.